This is Megan,
And this is Kat.
and we dun 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 dun, dun are the Muses,
The Meandering Muses.
the Meandering Muses.
And today, we have a very special guest for everyone here. We'd love to introduce you to Janine Ashley, co-founder of Theater of Hope and Healing. Come on.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Hey,
I
Janine.
love your show. I got to watch the first episode today
You.
and really
So
enjoyed it.
nice.
Loved hearing
Yeah.
the hot takes on Shakespeare.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah, speaking of Shakespeare, that's actually
Mhm.
how we met, isn't it?
Mhm. That's
Um,
right.
yeah, so fun little tangent to start us off. I met Janine when I was bored one day. I had just gone on that hiatus from college because I was pregnant and I was like, I miss Shakespeare, so I randomly went on Reddit. I never go on Reddit. I never go on Reddit. And Janine or Shakespeare Queen was like, "Hey, I am in this Discord called the Shakespeare Online Repertory Theater, and we're looking for people for a reading." And I was like, "Hi." And that was like, what, 3 years ago at this point
I
or
think
something?
so. That was
Because I
a
was
call we
pregnant.
did. hmm
Yeah.
That was a call I did for actors that brought in like exactly 50 new, not faces, voices, to our audio-based,
Oh, I love
yeah,
that.
Shakespeare Discord. I am a co-director there. I have not been too active, but I still love everyone there and hope to do some more shows soon with them.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's because you're super busy these days. I mean, we have actually done a production together though, because you were the nurse when I was Friar Lawrence, right?
that's right. That's right. Oh, that was so much fun. Yeah, that was
Yes.
the last YouTube
Hmm.
rehearsed production through the rep.
Yes. It was super fun. We didn't see either of our faces technically for the production, but we did
hmm
get to work together. So,
We did, yes.
yes. Okay. So I'm gonna throw it to Kat because we always start these with a little check-in question just to bring ourselves in because otherwise we will meander for hours. So, Kit Kat.
So, our check-in question today, since we're dealing with Shakespeare again, is what is your favorite production of Hamlet? It can be the one you've watched, it can be one you've been in, or one you've produced. So, let's hand it over to our guest of today. You can start us off.
Oh boy. Um, I mean, no disrespect to people who I've seen in Hamlet or people who I know who have directed Hamlet, but I have a very particular vision of Hamlet and one that I feel like is it's founded on some solid ground. And I just have never seen a production that was on target for me. I am really, really excited to one day direct one that is all about the oh gosh, it's just where I feel like Shakespeare was trying to go with it. What I mean, he does successfully, I think, is so timely. It's a little sad. But yeah, I we actually Theater for Open Healing taught a weekly class on Hamlet, slow theater. So we are going very slow with it, probably at least 2 hours per class, sometimes three and a half or maybe more. We're usually pretty good about keeping them to 2 hours now. But yeah, it that class went for 8 months to explore the themes uh, in the way we wanted to, and we
I
had
love that. I, I
yeah,
I I know
yeah.
you like sent me the links and I should go back and listen to all of them as I do my deep dive because we're actually as of this last week we decided we were going to start our book club with Hamlet because I'm deep diving for you. So,
Very cool. So
yeah.
yeah, I think that we're looking at Hamlet is set in a world that is very similar to England at
Mhm.
the time of Shakespeare was dealing with uh, significant religious wars, and one monarch, it was dangerous, and you're going to lose your head if you believed one thing. Next week, there might be a new monarch that says if you've gone the other way, that,
Will burn you at the stake.
sorry, exactly. And the
Cue me drinking a
Germans.
Bloody Mary.
So actually, I feel like starting with Wittenberg, it is like the clue of that's where Luther was, that's where the founding Protestant college was. I don't believe in a relationship between Horatio and Hamlet. I think Horatio is much more of a he's a Protestant scholar, and he's actually feels like he's based on a particular historical figure that whose name I forget now, who helped to bring Denmark to Protestantism. And he
Very
went
cool.
to college in Wittenberg with that particular historic Hamlet that the Germans there recognize as this is the Prince King that Hamlet was based on. They're like Hamlet House is where he lived in the 1500s, I think. Yeah, that would be right. So we're really looking at a world where Protestantism is new. It's a world where we're getting more and more into uh, men controlling society, and less Catholicism had some tolerance for humans being human, and you just go to confession. Suddenly you don't have confession. And you see that in Claudius. He's like, what's he gonna do?
Yeah.
With his guilty heart, his soul and everything. You got the
Can't
question
kill
of
him while he's
purgatory.
praying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think a huge part, I'm not a fan of giving Ophelia a bigger, stronger voice, or Gertrude either, because I think a huge part of the story is the fact that those women don't get alone time and they don't get to be heard. Something is wrong. Something is rotten in Denmark, and that is that women's voices have been silenced.
Yes,
Like, what that play would be so different if we were hearing from the women. So, yeah.
definitely.
Ah, I love it so
Ooh, all
much.
right. No,
Yeah.
thank you for your take and like not just giving us like a platitude of like back vibe. Like, no, thank you for that honesty. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
All right, Megan, what's yours? What's your answer
I
to the question?
the answer is I don't know. I've seen exactly two versions of Hamlet, which is Kenneth Branagh's chandelier. Like the
Oh my
chandelier
God.
death that just kills me. Like sword of doom, chandelier. I'm gonna swing from the chandelier and and finger feed the poison into your mouth. I'm like, what is happening? So that's the one I got at 17. And then a few years later, I watched David Tennant's Hamlet, which I think I liked better, but honestly, because I only watched it once, I don't remember a lot of it. And I probably watched it because I was in the midst of my Whovian era. Um, so I don't know. I do know that I pulled snippets of Tennant's Hamlet when I was in a costume design class where I had to design we had to design for a one act The Actor's Nightmare. I don't know if either of you have read it, but in it it's literally a short like a one act of a guy having an actor's nightmare, and he's supposed to be doing Hamlet, but he keeps forgetting the lines, and then the play keeps changing on him, and it changes multiple times, so we had to design every single costume iteration, and I remember basing Horatio somewhat on David Tennant's Horatio. Not David Tennant as Horatio,
Yeah.
but the Horatio in the David Tennant version.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've seen the David Tennant version with you. I think that's when I finally saw it
Did
was
we?
like with you.
Is that why I
Yeah.
own it? Because I don't remember buying it, but apparently I
Yeah.
own it.
Yeah. I think that's why. Because I think we were on a David Tennant in Shakespeare binge, and so we watched the Much Ado About Nothing together, and then you're like, oh, but there's this other one. Oh, I don't own it. Oh, I'm gonna buy it now. And like, so we watched it.
That sounds like me. That
Um,
sounds like me.
yeah.
One can never have enough Shakespeare and or David Tennant, I guess.
Um, but let's see. So I've seen I think it's the Laurence Olivier version.
Oh, have you? Hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of a little straight because, it's of course in those beautiful, like this beautiful grand hall that's white marble, and then he has that white blonde hair, so it's like really like, whoa, okay, everything is really bright. And every time I've seen Shakespeare, it's always been very dark and dingy because, black box theaters and all that sort of stuff. So that was really striking. But, the David Tennant version, I've talked previously about, my first introduction to Shakespeare in theater, which was a high school production with two Hamlets. Yeah, two Hamlets each crawling towards the front of the stage. It's crazy. But I think my favorite is my sister went to college up in Oregon. And so when we would go and visit her during springtime, that's when the Ashland Shakespeare Company or Shakespeare
Oh.
Festival would happen, and the Ashland Shakespeare Company would do their productions. And so I got to watch, and like we were in the nosebleed seats. We were right up against the sound booth. Um, in this, because it was like one of my first times going there, and um, I was maybe I was in high school, but like I was a small bean. I was like maybe my first year of high school. Um, and it was set in modern day Denmark and with the royal family and everything like that. So they're in more modern clothes, still like, the uniforms and stuff like that. But then for the play within the play, he was behind us. We literally turned and there he was in the sound booth, like going like, okay, checking, yeah, okay, da da da, and like saying his lines, and we're just like, I'm just going, I don't know where to look. Oh my gosh, wait, what? It was just such a clever use of being in the modern day era, and then the play within the play using the stage as the play
That's
within the play stage. It was just like, boom,
love that. That seems like
Yeah,
yeah,
such a cool choice.
that's great.
yeah.
Okay, awesome. I love it. We have checked in now for the meat of our
Mm.
interview, if you will.
The
Janine,
meat.
you co-founded a theater company um, called Theater for Hope and Healing. Would you please give us, you know, a little rundown of Theater for Hope and Healing?
Sure. So we've been around in some form for about 18 months now. It took me a while to figure out the math before getting on here because, wow, time is passing. We
Crazy.
began, my co-founder is Harry Barandes, and we met in the Shakespeare Discord realm as well. And I think the first big project that we did was together was Othello, and I directed that. That's on YouTube. And we did that through the lens of narrative practice, formerly known as narrative therapy, um, and just really centering the question of who owns the narrative, who owns uh, your narrative, Othello's narrative. Desdemona falls in love with Othello for his story. But what is Iago's actual weapon of choice? It is controlling the narrative. And that is what we see in real life too, how people operate. And uh, yeah, so Harry and I working together realized just how much what mattered to both of us in theater was the story and the narrative and how healing it can be. He is an LCSW, a psychotherapist, and he works with various approaches, but narrative practice is core to it. And theater is such a natural tool for that. And yet psychodrama and things like that don't use it quite in that way. Uh, and also psychodrama, your drama therapists and whatnot are not, it, it's it's not scalable mental health programming. And that's something that's really important to us, the accessibility of the healing that theater provides. So we are really trying to create a new kind of theater. Sometimes we we call it slow theater, but it really centers narrative. Our what you call it, mission statement is we believe that theater and the narrative arts are the key to empowering all to claim authorship over their stories and live their authentic truths. Our mission is to foster hope and promote healing in individuals, families, and communities through performance, education, and conversation focused on cultivating narrative agency and embracing narrative pluralism, which is huge. Nothing approaches the art form for exploring and expanding people's capacity for narrative pluralism.
What is narrative pluralism?
Narrative pluralism is the coexistence of multiple narratives. And especially we're talking about, say right here, we've got three narratives besides your multiple narratives you're juggling. But we've got three solid narratives in existence right here. Megan, you've got your background of how you met your husband, you're a mom, you have all these things going, you've got certain goals, certain dreams, you've got a worldview. All that's part of your narrative. Kat, yours as well, mine as well. And it looks like here we've got some good positive narrative pluralism going, right? We coexist so well. But any long-term close relationship, and honestly, that's from, partners, spouses, to kids and mothers, to communities. When we're trying to live together in a country where we're sharing laws, but you got people with very different narratives trying to coexist. Theater allows us to be in the room with, for the play we're working on now, Ghosts, for instance, has five characters. So we've got five narratives coexisting. And we are very, very, very focused on our actors and how they are feeling, how their mental health is, how safe they feel to embody and their narratives and to really empower them to have full narrative agency so they are able to fully embody that narrative. And we see that in our rehearsals. The energy of the characters are so different that one character can be, you know, kind of brought down by two or three others that are really weighed down by secrets. And we're like, wait, no, that's not your story. Your story is you've got hope. Your story is you're out of here. You know you're out of here. They don't know that. For example, so narratives clash no matter what. That causes rupture. These are very much therapist terms. Rupture is inevitable. What matters is how you repair. And narrative pluralism is a huge component of that, is expanding our understanding of how this rupture happened. It's not, that you hate me. It's not that you deliberately ordered chicken when you know I'm a vegetarian. Like, for example, it's simply I'm living my narrative, you're living yours. And yeah, theater shows us either how those narratives learn to coexist, or the tragedies that happen when they
Mhm.
don't. And Shakespeare Hamlet is such a good example of that.
I love
Wonderful.
that. Thank you so much.
We were talking about theater for hope and healing. Uh,
Yes.
yes. I mentioned slow theater before,
Yes, please tell
and
us a
I
little
was meaning
more.
to ask, like, yeah.
What is that for people who aren't in the know?
slow theater, it's a term we came up with. I know we're not the first to use it, but it does look like it hasn't really taken off. So we do mean something somewhat specific with it, but it's evolving, and we are open to ideas as it emerges, hopefully to become, honestly, I envision a new industry. I don't know that I don't feel like we are wanting to so much uh, like revolutionize the existing industry. It's connected certainly to slow living, slow food, those type of concepts, slow fashion. It's a big one. Uh, and really approaching making theater mindfully and human-centered, empathy-centered, um, story-centered. And it becomes more about the process and less about the product. That said, like we can't just pretend the product doesn't exist.
Mhm.
Though I think at some instances the product, don't love that term in this instance, but can turn into more of a class or a coaching type of session, a group coaching, where people are together making theater, doing scenes, exploring the text closely and really getting to know the characters. Um, it we're really about focusing on well, I'll go ahead and say it. Safe Place to Play is the acting methodology I've been working on for quite a while. I've been an actor coach for a bit. Oops, I keep banging my mic. I'm so sorry. I
That's
am
okay.
very much talking with my hands today. Um,
We do all the time. That's yeah, there's nothing around me because I would absolutely like knock something out.
so
I
yeah,
have done that before. I've gone, and so, and then.
I honestly started with polyvagal theory when I got into acting coaching, realizing like that was a good place, a foundation of building safety within the body. Unfortunately, a couple of months ago, although I love Dr. Porges who started polyvagal theory, and I don't know how much y'all know about it. I won't get too into
No.
it because of where this is going. Is
Mhm.
the fact is, Harry and I discovered flat out, even though it's everywhere, it's on your self-care Instagram, TikTok, all the vagal nerve kind of stuff. This is polyvagal theory. It works. It so works. But the science of the explanation of there is this nerve that you need to tone and that kind of thing. And that's where your emotions, your fight, flight, and freeze are all coming from. That can't be proven. It hasn't been proven. So it's almost like it's just helpful language, but
Mm.
using those language, using the exercises built on that helps. Uh, that said, Harry and I have discovered predictive processing and are getting really deep into that right now and realizing even more so that the nervous system actually is this cognitive theory is ultimately about how all of our emotions, our fight, flight, and freeze, and all of that are built upon predictions. So predicting that went one way that one time, so therefore I might be in danger this time. Or when I was around this person that felt that way that one time, this time I'm safe because I know that person was safe. And very much narrative is what that is. It's the stories you create around it. So, all that said, I was talking about safe place to play. I am such a meanderer, so yeah.
Welcome,
Uh,
welcome.
I will throw the topic at him and add your name to it.
So, safe place to play, we do start with breath work, and grounding is so, so important. Never pushing, really, really accepting where the actor and when you get into the performing, where the audience is today. Uh, yeah, not pushing, simply showing up as we are. And then really focusing both on understanding the narrative, the story of our characters, really staying away from judging. Like, I strongly believe you should be able to play Iago. And while you are in Iago mode, you are fully justified in what you're doing. Absolutely. You know why. You are justified. You have been wronged. So, really getting to that place, there is a narrative there controlling it. And, that it feels dangerous at times, but in all honesty, it helps us to understand what the narrative is behind the real life villains. And I think it's a foundation for where to find solutions to real world problems. Um, but yeah, and then also play. I love play therapy. In fact, if I were to go into becoming a therapist kind of route, I would probably pick play therapy over drama therapy, truly. And because I see theater as playing. It is humans playing at being humans, like dogs play
Well,
at
it is
being
play.
dogs.
We call them
It is.
plays. We
Exactly.
don't call
Uh,
them, we don't call them nerdy words that we speak to other people. We call them
nope,
plays.
we don't call it work
With
either.
We
costumes
don't.
and
Yeah, we don't
music.
call it work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We are playing. We are making believe. That's what we do as children, and so we bring that to the theater. I love that.
exactly. Yes. And that's just the playing aspect in and of itself is healing. It truly is. And so really freeing up the actor to play. In fact, Harry will talk a lot about how that is the goal of a therapist is to get the client to a place where they feel like I can play. That means I can make a mistake. I can try something. Um, I can fail, and that's okay. That's part of the process.
And
So,
that shows it's a safe space, is that you feel relaxed enough to play, to experiment. That's
yeah,
awesome.
And
we are.
feel like you can do so
Mhm.
without feeling the judgment. Even if they're not
Yeah.
judging, sometimes it feels like they are. But when you are in a place that makes you feel safe enough to just explore,
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So
love
it's
that.
it's very important for us to provide acting training, coaching. I really strongly believe in the idea of bringing acting to more of the the masses is the word that's coming to mind. I don't like that word, but
The public, I guess. To
yes, yes, to to
the
more of a
collective
main,
you.
yeah, the collective, to the mainstream, beyond just the theater industry or the theater kids or even the community theater. Like the thing is, this is, so much part of my story is my hobby. I've been really into embroidery. I've been into crocheting. I was into sculpting with clay for a while. I love nature. I love identifying herbs.
You
I
sound
love
like Kat right now.
singing. Yeah.
We need to
Oh,
talk.
you're an herbs person? Yes. Okay.
I'm like,
Please.
I'm like,
I
by any
actually,
chance, ADHD? Because this sounds like the hobby graveyard that every ADHD kid has.
I have ADHD. I've been diagnosed. Yes.
Yes, nice. Like you were saying, I was listening. I'm like, okay, yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. And then you mentioned
Yes.
dirt, and I'm like, excuse me, hello.
I'm
Okay.
like,
You need
I'm
to
allergic
chat.
to the outside, so I didn't. But I'm like everything else that you mentioned. I'm like, this sounds familiar. This sounds a lot familiar.
I'm actually developing a line of herbal teas under possibly the name Herbs for Hope and Healing, possibly something like Green Room Botanicals, but I've got like theater themed names and for very specific, yeah,
Cat is freaking out a
yeah.
lot. I hope you are shipping
Sucker.
internationally because otherwise I'm gonna have to buy it for her for like Christmas. And so
Well,
that she can bring it home with her.
yeah. I'm also a sucker for a good homage to, like there is in Prague, a book bar.
Uh-huh.
So it's all book based titles for their cocktails and things. So I love that kind of
I love
stuff.
that kind of thing too.
She's a sucker for puns too, so like
Yes.
the green room. I'm
Yes.
like, perfect. Perfect.
It's so
Oh
great.
my gosh.
I love finding urban theater people too. That's exciting.
Oh, oh my
Um,
gosh.
yeah. Oh, what I was saying,
Yeah,
though,
we'll meander on back.
oh, yeah, that was a fun little segue. Um, I really think that theater needs to be more accessible and understood as anybody anywhere can pick up a script and have a little moment of play with it, or
Hmm.
hey, improv or whatever too. It's very much make believe, but a script gives you something very interesting to work with. Shakespeare Online Repertory Theater was really a learning time for me for this as well, is because before that I did monologues all the time, just playing in my room, in the living room, whatever. I'm a mom of two and whatnot. It's been hard for me for quite a bit to get on the stage itself. I have done a show here and there, but yeah, I most people will look at you like you have two heads, though, if you're like, "Hey, let's get together to read some Shakespeare over coffee." Um, but when I've found the people that will do that, it's just magic. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. And so what was one of your first monologues that you did from Shakespeare?
Definitely the first, without a doubt, is the oh God, what is it called? Beatrice's
Is it Oh
uh
That I Were a Man?
oh yes.
Oh my gosh. We literally, I dragged Kat in for her first Shakespeare rep reading because we did Much Ado on Saturday. And
Uh-huh.
everybody, we're all just like, this is my favorite scene. This is my favorite scene. And Jamie and I were like, this is the first scene I ever directed. And I'm just like, ah, I love that one so
That
much.
man, that is
Yes.
such a powerful, powerful
Oops.
monologue.
It is. Much Ado was my door into Shakespeare and theater generally. Like I already was into it probably by the time I was four. Like I was writing scripts, though those were more based on Sesame Street and things like that. Um, but like I, by the time I was four, was writing out scripts, which I would use my stuffed animals as puppets for, and just knew that was the direction I wanted to go. But somewhere between 9 and 11, I went to a professional production of Much Ado that was traveling. It came to my little town in the Mississippi Delta, and I was like, I need to do this. And I identified so much with Beatrice, and I got a copy. And I ended up memorizing the entire script. And I often kind of felt like, am I directing? Am I acting? I don't know. I'm doing all of it. I was homeschooled through eighth grade to 12th grade. And so I was just home alone a lot with lots of time to kill, and I just really sustained myself. I did other plays too, but I did so many one-woman shows of Much Ado About Nothing, and that was always like the pinnacle, that one monologue, and
Oh
I
my
love it so
gosh.
much.
It's so funny because you guys were like, yeah, for my first foray into memorizing scripts and stuff, I did Shakespeare nerdy stuff, and I'm just like, I memorized the first Harry Potter movie when I
It
was like
worked.
9. That's why I have an English accent that's
That's funny.
somewhat passable, apparently.
My sister and I, speaking of Harry Potter, we used to go back and forth with lines. So like my favorite was spiders. Why couldn't it be what's with spiders? Why can't it be follow the butterflies? And I love that line. So
Oh my gosh. Oh gosh.
but yes, my dark little heart was like, I'm gonna because my first production that I saw was Hamlet, so I was like, I'm gonna learn the to be or not to be speech, and so I learned that monologue as a small little middle school bean, and it was kind of hilarious. And it's kind of like, oh yeah, no, people definitely probably were like, I'm sorry, which one are you learning? Why? Wait, what?
Oh, meanwhile, I didn't
Mm.
do a Shakespeare monologue for ages. I'm like, because I know the first one that I sort of sank my teeth into was in college, and that was Phoebe's Think Not I Love Him.
Hmm.
Um, But my go-to as far as like classic monologues for ages was out of Jane Eyre.
Oh.
Um, because it was about, oh God, how did that one start? Because it used to be my pocket monologue for ages. Um, and now I'm like completely blanking because of course when you need it, you're just like, what are words? I have no idea what words are. It's the one where she's like, because do you think because I'm poor and little and plain and all of those other things that I'm not human too, basically.
Hmm.
It's the one she tells him she loves him, essentially.
I am worthy. Look at me as a human, not as like all of these other identifiers.
Yeah, it's the one that ends with I am no bird. I am no bird, and no net ensnares me. I am a human being with an independent will, which I now exert to leave you. Something like that. And I'm like, Jane, Jane.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. The big part of
So,
theater too is it lets you try on those characters when you're not up to standing up to somebody with those kind of words, you know? Like man, it's something else when you can really feel you can borrow somebody else's power. You can borrow that character's power. I've borrowed Lady Macbeth's confidence before. Yeah,
Oh,
now it's mine.
oh,
oh man,
ah,
that's just amazing.
ah.
Oh.
I love it. I love it. Okay, I'm gonna reel us all back in because we have swum off into the little rivers. But I'm gonna bring us back to Theater for Hope and Healing because you guys are working on your first in-person production,
That's right.
right? So
Yeah.
you mentioned it a little earlier, but for people like me who have explored classics but not specifically Ibsen, would you please give us a quick rundown of Ghosts?
Yes. So Ibsen's Ghosts is oh, it's an intense play. It's one that he had a hard time finding a place to stage, and therefore it ended up actually being first produced in Chicago, which I don't know if you've mentioned yet, but that's where I am, and that's where we are producing this play. Uh, it is a play about, wow, where to even start? Mrs. Alving is the character I am playing, and she is someone who was married to someone who wasn't a great fit. But he's been dead for a while, and we are, as the curtain rises, basically the whole story is at this time when she is finally opening an orphanage that she is naming after her husband, her deceased husband, and using all of his money that he left her on. And
Oh.
also her son is in town that she never gets to see, and he's a artist in Paris. And then her maid, Regina, is a huge character, a surprisingly huge character, actually, as well as her father, Ingstrand, who is uh yeah, he's not quite of the same class as everybody else in the play. And it is a certainly a clash of narratives. Oh yeah, oh my goodness, I'm completely forgetting one of the biggest characters of the whole play is Pastor Manders. She has called in her old friend, the pastor, to help with the paperwork and stuff like that. And that paperwork is actually very exciting part of the story. It is a tragedy, definitely. Um, and yet there are some seeds of hope at the end. Uh, it explores very, very intensely. Generational trauma is number one where I go. There is a very significant metaphor for generational trauma, and you see it play out just throughout, as well as owning your own story in a society where your story is going against everybody else. Ghosts is a reference to ghosts of beliefs and ghosts of, gosh, of things that people are not talking about and processing like you would in therapy or just in a solid relationship, getting things out in the open. And yeah, it also gets into, I'm not sure, to some extent, this is like content warning, but also spoilers, but euthanasia, um, and incest. Yeah.
Ooh.
So it is a play that if you don't go into prepared, could traumatize some people or trigger some people. Every single person I've talked to, though, identifies to some extent with the generational trauma. It's like a thread that uh, just ties us all together. And everybody who experiences it also is like, this is so timeless. It's timeless and timely. Um, so yeah, we decided to choose this as our first play. After all that, it is a just remarkable piece of storytelling. It is, as Ibsen famously said, he's not a feminist. He like is for everybody's rights, but at his time, ours now too, women are one of the classes that are like really don't have those rights. So it is, like it or not, it's a feminist play for sure and empowering in many ways. So we are doing a staged reading of this production uh, and really using it as a place to further develop our concept of slow theater, of safe place to play and action while directing a show. And then it's also followed by a talk back with Harry Barandes, the psychologist and director, um, leading. We've got other people with different connections to the mental health world. Our actors, what am I saying? Several of them have connections. One's getting their master's in counseling, I believe, things like that. And we're all there to represent our characters' stories as we process the play with the audience. We also will have grounding exercises and a brave space sort of pact we all make together. In general, we're trying to make theater not just, it's not an escape, it's not just entertainment, but it's also a communal healing ritual. And yeah,
That's
it's
amazing.
happening March 19th
Gotcha.
and 20th in Chicago, but we'll also be live streaming.
Love it.
So, and how can they get the link for the live stream? Or how does that work?
Uh, we actually, I will say, we haven't figured out the tech just yet and exactly where that's going to be, but you can always follow us on Instagram, Facebook. Substack is a good place to follow us. I'm very active on Substack now and Blue Sky. And then check our website at theaterforhopeandhealing.org.
And we will have all of those links down in the description, so you can always just come from the video to one of those links. Awesome.
Yes.
And you have such an amazing mission that you guys have at Theater for Hope and Healing. And as someone who's not anywhere near the area to go and either volunteer or contribute, how can people contribute or support Theater for Hope and Healing?
Uh, well, first I want to say how you can be a part of it if you are international, because we have a ton of international, I want to say members. I don't know if we're technically a membership, but people that come to our classes and we just love hanging out with so much. I would say you can start, of course, on our website and social media to find out what's going on, but we have a Discord server that's very active, and we've got people from Japan, Switzerland, Macedonia, Bangladesh, all over there. Canada, US, of course, too, represent. Um, and yeah, we do a lot of chit chat there. We have a free weekly class that's I don't know if it's always going to be on Shakespeare, but it very well might. Fridays, 1 p.m. Central. And then we have done readings there. I would love to do some more readings before too long. And we also, of course, will be live streaming our productions and doing more Zoom things. I will be announcing, it will already be announced by the time I think you air this, you post it, but we will have Zoom classes as well. So you can participate, contribute through Zoom classes. You can also find us our link on an Fractured Atlas. We are very much in a place where we're relying on just wonderful people like you to I'm speaking to everybody who's watching to help
Collective
us,
you.
The collective
yes,
you can
collective you,
help.
to help us get started building financial security and a place where we can like actually build these productions. Cost a lot of money, and we're really trying to think creatively about possibly producing things in yoga studios. I love to think of Shakespeare. uh, we've always wanted to create Shakespeare classes that you approach sort of like yoga classes, basically. It's very much well-being. I have talked all this time. I haven't even mentioned that I've did the Global Arts and Medicine Fellowship, and yeah, we're all about theater as wellness and as well-being support and that kind of thing. Anyway, but yeah, please, we are running a crowdfunding campaign for Ghosts specifically, or you can be a sustaining contributor at our Fractured Atlas link, which
Yeah,
yes, you'll have
we
to look
will
up.
link all of these in the description below for you guys. So, um,
Basically, be prepared because the description is just going to be link, 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 link.
yeah, it'll be our blurb and then the 5,000 links that we
Hmm.
will send you to today. But yeah, that's so exciting. So yeah, now that they know where they can support, would you like to give us any sort of hints or spoilers about what might be coming up for Theater for Hope and Healing, like any future projects in the works, etc.?
Yeah. Ooh. So our first production with a little bit more going on than just reading will be The Seagull. That is no surprise to
Mm.
anybody who knows Harry because
No, not at
The
all. No
Seagull is
surprise at
absolutely
all. It's
his
got like its own
favorite.
channel, doesn't it?
Yeah,
In the
so
Discord.
on Discord. Yes, so once we have our funding a little uh paired away, we will get started on planning out the Seagull, and we'll have the grounding exercises, talk back and so forth with that as well. And uh crossing fingers, I assume we will live stream that too. We should have classes announced by the time that you're posting this, so I don't know if that's necessarily a spoiler.
Okay, if it's not a
But
spoiler, guys, go into the link, go join the classes,
but
and be
we'll
part of
yeah.
the collective theater community.
Safe place to play kind of classes. I'm hoping to get a sort of you reminded me of this too, that a parent in me or just potentially just mothers come and play. Like it's fine if your kids need to interrupt, whatnot. Let's do some theater work together
Oh
because
yeah,
I
yeah, I
know
remember when you first brought
so
this up.
many
I love
moms
it.
that are
That
theater
we put
people that
everything on
can't.
hiatus. Yeah.
Yes. And I've got a 7-year-old and 10-year-old that are often like the 7-year-old is like teeny tiny and wants me to hold her still. Yeah.
Oh, the
Um,
Velcro stage. That means
oh
there's
yes.
another 5 years of this at least. I'm teasing. I love it. I'm savoring the cuddles. I just get
Mhm.
overstimulated once in a while.
I do too. I feel you. So yeah, and then I have
Oh
a
no,
few plays, a couple of
Mama.
scripts at least. They hope to be completing Yeah, definitely by the end of the year, hopefully get some workshops of those going. One is a two-seater that I'm adapting from my one-woman show on Mary Wollstonecraft, and the other is what you're dramaturging on, which is tentatively called To Be Continued, and is Hamlet 2025, basically.
Yes, so any of our followers that are planning on joining us on this, Hamlet deep dive, the reason we're going on a Hamlet deep dive is Janine. Janine,
Mhm.
as we mentioned, I kind of got involved actually relatively early on because I've now known you
Mhm,
almost 3 years. But I remember you first telling me about your adaptation,
mhm.
and and I remember just saying, I want in. I
I
don't care
remember
that you
too.
can't I don't care that you can't pay me right now. I want in. So so yeah, we're gonna go on a fun little dramaturging deep dive of Hamlet and all of the adjacent relevant information that Janine needs me to look up, because that's my job. So, yeah. So, I think that was all the questions we had for you today.
I think so.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Um,
it's been lovely, and I'm so excited that
yeah.
you agreed to come and join and chat and meander about with us. So, thank
Thank
you
you.
again for joining us.
Yeah. Yes,
It's been
and
so much
I hope
fun.
we can meander again sometime. That would be
Me
super fun.
too. Me
Yeah, as we
too.
get a
Maybe
little
some
further on in these projects, we'll have to bring you back.
maybe at
Yes.
another venue we can meander about herbs too.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. That way it's not all business. All right. But yes, so for all of our fellow meanderers, if you enjoyed this, please give us a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, comment down below. What should we ask today, Kat? I'm a little bit brain. You know what? Let us know what your favorite production of Hamlet is, if you have one, or if you don't have one, tell us why. Swinging from the
Yeah.
chandeliers.
And thank you again to Janine Ashley and to the Theater for Hope and Healing for
Yes.
coming on to our YouTube channel.
Yes, and go check out their live stream. We'll link the Eventbrite or whatever we can down in the description below. So, we will see you all. Thank you for joining us. We're going to sign off. This has been Megan.
And Kat.
And
And Janine.
and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Eh, I don't know. Blah, blah, blah. English. What are words? I don't know. So yeah.